Hi, my name is Larry Barthel, and I attended the University of Minnesota at Morris from 1990 through 1994. I am one of the co-founding members of Equality, and Equality asked me to come up and speak at your Pride festivities this week, and unfortunately I can't make it up there to speak at the events. So I thought I'd send along this video just to give you some insight into the background of Equality, some of the motivations that caused me to form the group, and just send along my well wishes for your Pride Week this week.
So I just want to tell you a little bit about me. I was born in Manila, Philippines. My dad met my mom while he was in the Navy, and about 6 months after I was born, we moved here to Minnesota. I was raised in St. Michael, a small town along I-94 with about 900 people in it. I was a fairly precocious kid with an interest in science and math, and I knew someday I wanted to study science and perhaps teach high school kids someday. I also had a large interest in music. I played clarinet and piano, and thought someday I might go into teaching music as well. I graduated somewhere near the top of my class with a full tuition ride to Morris, so in 1990 I kind of packed up my stuff and headed out. I think it was in high school when I first started questioning my sexuality. However, because St. Michael is a very small town, such topics are not really covered in high school health class. The word gay didn't really mean anything to me at that point, other than someone to be avoided or something bad. I never realized what sexual orientation was or how it could be anything but a man and a woman having kids together. It just never occurred to me because it was just never talked about. However, I had started wondering about my feelings towards other guys. I thought maybe it was a phase or something I could get over, or was how everyone else felt at one point, just kind of got on with life without thinking about it again. So it was with these feelings that I left for college. When I got to Morris, I started to really think about what my feelings meant. I don't think it was a specific event or happening that caused me to realize that my feelings towards guys extended beyond the emotional and into the physical. Before this, I had thought I had deep emotional ties to the guys I had known and liked, but by the winter of 1990 I had come to realize that it was a true relationship and sexual attraction. I mean, with all the time spent cooped up due to the heavy snows and high winds, you have a lot of time to think, right? The problem was this was also in conflict with everything I had learned from the Bible. I was raised as a Catholic, but started attending an Assembly of God in my last couple years of high school. The church preached against gays constantly, and so when I started to realize I might be one of them, it clashed with everything I had been taught. It was a very troubling time of change for me, which only added to the stress of living on my own for the first time and trying to make friends on campus. In the winter of 1990, I also attended my first meeting of the 10% Society. I don't remember a whole lot about that meeting other than feeling very nervous about meeting gays. I really still didn't consider myself one of them yet, and I wasn't sure what to expect. The only part I remember is that it was very sparsely attended. Only about 3 to 4 people were there, including myself, and a lot of the talk was way over my head about rallies and national support groups and the like. I really didn't take much away from the meeting other than just dedicating to really figuring myself out. Over the summer, I continued to wonder about myself, but was really immersed into working and earning money so I could come back in the fall. It was an interesting summer spent selling books door to door, and afterwards I came back to Morris thinking I could really work things out. And selling books door to door really gives you a lot of time to think and gives you a lot of self-confidence, so I knew I could find a solution somehow. But it wasn't really as smooth as I thought it would be. You see, I still had that nagging guilt about God and the Bible and my now acknowledged homosexuality. I mean, how could I live with myself knowing I was sinning against God and still consider myself a good and moral person? How could I go on knowing my life was headed one way and my beliefs another? This is something I had to resolve on a personal level, and I'll tell you about that in an addendum to this video. It was in the midst of this that I decided I needed others to talk to about it. However, there didn't seem to be any support for GLBT people back then. Yeah, it was just GLBT, the T wasn't added until later. It was also at this time that I started to become friends with Ron Kubik and his then partner Brandon. They were the ones who set a good example for me about how being gay didn't have to mean being unhappy or remorseful. It was Ron who encouraged me to form a student group on campus to address GLBT issues, and so then I just went for it. Equality was formed by myself and Rebecca Long, who at the time was questioning her own sexuality in terms of whether or not she was becoming bisexual. We drafted up the Charter for Equality with Ron's help and got it approved as a bona fide student group in 1991. The hardest part was coming up with a name, since all the gay euphemisms were already taken. We didn't want to necessarily have GLBT in our title, for instance, so we kind of bandied the names around, and it was Rebecca Long's friend Jenny who came up with the idea of promoting equality of life. I added the E for everybody's quality of life, and the name Equality was born. Our membership consisted of Becca, myself, and our 5 straight friends who were loyal supporters of our cause. We also had a larger following of friends who supported us from the sidelines, offering support and shoulders to cry on when things became rough, but these people were not actually attending members. I have to admit, a lot of stuff could have happened badly, more so than they did. There was the usual name-calling and people coming up and saying unusual and sometimes hurtful things at our tabling sessions at the then new student center, but nothing violent. Well, there were the dog feces I received in the campus mail one time, but that didn't really faze me. And there was a small fight I got into one late night with a small group of guys who thought it'd be fun to threaten me on my way home from rehearsal one night. I was dedicated to doing something good for the campus, though, and for the other GLBT people in it, wherever they were hiding. Our membership didn't really grow too much that year. We were just getting started after all, but we did work with Campus Life, who had us do some diversity Q&As at the various dorms, which were surprisingly well attended. We made a lot of strides from 1981 to 1993. We started an alliance with a few other schools who had GLBT groups, and actually we learned about the T part of it from those groups, so later we added the T to our charter. And we started communication between the various college groups. We even held a 10% dance at the Student Center, which was attended by about 20 students from other colleges and about 30 from Morris. I think I was the only one there who knew how to vogue, however, which kind of shocked me. We had regular tabling sessions going on at the Student Center, and started the Pride Week tradition of showing GLBT movies on campus and having discussion groups afterwards. But we were very proud to have done events like that to bring awareness to the campus. However, all of this was kind of taking its toll on me personally, and by January 1994, my grades were so low I was put on academic suspension. I decided not to come back to Morris and instead pursue life on my own. I had to kind of drop everything, pack up, and move out of the dorms on the first day of classes in 1994, and I never came back. I tried to put it all behind me and just try to live a new life in Minneapolis, which I have to say was a good move on my part. I soon found a job at the largest law firm in Minnesota, Dorsey & Whitney, and being true to my nature, joined their gay group. While a member of the gay group, we obtained domestic partnership benefits for all the employees of the firm, and we were regular sponsors of the Minnesota AIDS Walk, where we ran a rest stop booth every year. It was through this that I found my advocacy days in Morris could be put to good use for charity events in Minneapolis. After leaving Dorsey & Whitney after 10 years, I found another job with Wells Fargo, and joined its gay group as well. Wells participates in the AIDS Walk, the Pride Festival, the Red Ribbon Ride, and the Minnesota Human Rights Campaign as official sponsors. It was again through this type of advocacy and charity work that I found things fulfilling. Today, I am the co-chair for the 5-state area Pride Minnesota group, which gives me an opportunity to support GLBT issues in a very large corporation, as well as fundraising and video opportunities. It was through all this that I decided to return to Morris in September 2009 to, expunge a few demons and check out how the campus has changed in the intervening 15 years. What I found was an equality group that has enjoyed years of peace with no major GLBT incidents. It's healthy, it's thriving, and it's a great presence on campus for those seeking help in dealing with their own sexual orientation issues. I'm very proud and happy that equality continues to exist today, and I'm looking forward to many more years of hearing about Morris and equality's efforts to keep it a safe space for GLBT students. Thanks everyone for your continued participation, ideas, and energy. You guys keep the dream alive. So I just wanted to wish you guys well. Happy Pride, and thank you for the opportunity for speaking even vicariously at your events. Hope they all go well, and I wish you all the best. Thanks.